6,290 pounds, one owner, not very used. Open range coming in down here at Advantage One RV Brokers. Overall, looks to be in exceptionally well-kept shape and condition right here. A couple things to note. You are not inheriting someone else's problems. Looks to be very well maintained. You are, however, inheriting hundreds of dollars of RV accessories that, especially if you're a first-timer, you're really going to need a lot of this stuff, like especially that load leveling hitch right there, that recurve R3 weight distribution and anti-sway combo hitch. But I mean, if you get in here, you can see there's like the sewer hose centipede, there's links leveling blocks, there's outside carpets. I mean, this thing is just, it's loaded with stuff. Now, I have long been a fan of rear kitchens because they give us a couple things that, and they do a better job of it than pretty much any other floor plan, like tons of storage and tons of prep space. Look at the countertop space. We'll get in more detail. We'll get closer back there, but it opens up in here to a ridiculous degree. Now, the cool thing is there's several things you actually won't see on this RV, and I mean that in a beneficial way. You won't see the air conditioner since it's whisper ducted. And if you don't see the square, say it with me, you won't hear the air. That's nerdism number 37, I believe, checking my list. Checking it twice, yep. Also, you don't see floor vents, and you don't see carpet in the slide. At the time this was built, carpetless slide was an exclusive quality. Since then, Coachman and Jayco and Keystone and a bunch of brands have adopted a carpetless slide system, but the whisper ducted air is still something that very few campers in this class have. There's storage doors on the end of that dinette, and the single leg post on the big U-dinette bench over here, notice how it can actually allow you to twist and turn the table. Very handy if you're a bigger person like me. You got to kind of slide your way around there. Well, jump to the left and hop to the right, or, you know, step and this and that and every other thing. Sorry, I go off the rails sometimes. Let's check out the kitchen. A little more in-depth look at the counter space here because, buddy, there's a lot of it. This thing, whew, it's got prep space for days over here. That is a stainless double sink, by the way. Just to crack that open, let you take a little look in there. In case you're curious, some people are like, hey, what's that pink stuff in the sink? It's antifreeze, and the RV is currently winterized. It doesn't look like it had been used a whole great deal recently. Now, this is one of the things in a rear kitchen I love, and I think it just trumps a rear living room. I've got the same dual reclining heat massage theater seating right here. That's another thing Open Range is doing before a lot of cats is heat massage theater seating. But I've got that same big panoramic picture viewing window overlooking my campsite. But it's looking at my campsite. It's not looking at like the neighbors behind me like a very rear living room would commonly be. And most rear bathrooms, frankly, the only windows that they usually have are over here on the driver's side of the RV. This RV has windows everywhere. Great cross breeze, great airflow. Now, I said that TV can pivot out. Abracadabra, alakazam, open it up and take a look, man. You see that swings right open. We've got strutted overhead cabinet storage above that. But then down here, I call this almost like the entry bureau kind of, almost like desk shelf space, and you can see all kinds of outlets all over that thing. So this is another good spot if you have like little fans or something like that. Easy place to be able to plug those kind of things in. That's your converter panel down below there, by the way. At your house, you probably call it your fuse box. Then just the nice little touch details, like the little stopper right there for the bathroom door so that it doesn't smash into the wall. Previous owners also added a handy little dry erase board here. Very handy. You see the little magnets on it to be able to keep track of, like, when you go to a campground, they've always got the display rack full of flyers. It's nice to be able to get a good look at the local sights and sounds. Our master control panel is also very easy to access right by the entry door. Speaking of by the entry door, I didn't plan that segue, but I am going to take it and roll with it. Our bathroom, dual entry bathroom right by the door, fully travel accessible, or frankly, just cutting down on foot traffic through the RV, accessible, functional, whatever, you get the idea. Sliding pocket privacy door for the bedroom, and this is a recessed kind of stainless how do I want to say it, stainless glazed, stainless coated on the top here sink with a huge amount of counter space, because the sink is plenty big for adult hands. You can get your hands right in there, but it looks small because the countertop is just so darn big. Little toothbrush holder. That's cute. That's handy. Previous owners must have added that there. That's not a factory component. You see the big radius shower right here, but also a double door big linen cabinet, and both of those doors open with full storage. I just cracked one open so you could kind of see the difference. Now, stepping into the bedroom, one of the first things I want to point out here is directly across from the bed, we do have our TV hookups, as you can see, and then cross breeze windows across the bed, as the cross breeze name would apply. Side stands with drawers for both sides of the bed, and this one over here also has a handy little laundry chute so that yesterday's clothes have a place to hide today. Very CPAP friendly. You see household outlets right up against the headboard on both sides of the bed. Now, speaking of this bed, let's talk about this. I'm going to call this a queen-vertible bed, which, now that I say it out loud, kind of sounds like an event you might hear about on RuPaul's Drag Race or something. But it's a Camp Queen right now. But you see that little spacer block? If you want to shove that up in the headboard area, it'll scoot the mattress down a little bit. And there's plenty of walk-around room here. It will always be a walk-around bed. Or you could just pull the mattress, which I think the previous owner did. I don't think they used it because there was like one of these vacuum storage sealer bags in here when I first walked in that I just tucked away. So I don't think this mattress was ever used. I think it's factory fresh. And if you want to replace it with just a normal 60 by 80 queen, there is absolutely nothing stopping you from doing that. So you can kind of do whatever you want. And then up here, the King Jack antenna system. Another thing Open Range was one of the first to use. You can't really see it because the decal kind of hides it. But what you do is, as you twist the knob, there's reception indicator lights down here that are kind of invisibly hidden. They'll glow very obviously, though, when you have connection. So you can say, ooh, I've got the best connection here. Then scan your TV channels one time instead of having to turn, scan, turn, scan, turn, scan. And you can never find channel 37 again, which had the original episodes of The Price is Right. Now they're gone. Back outside, I would like to draw your attention to the entry door and those Moride stable steps, because if you look just behind it, you can see the original factory non-stable steps still on there. So the folks, along with all the other accessories, also spent a few $100 upgrading the steps. So I should total up how much stuff is included on this that, you know, just comes with it, and you're getting it all for less than a new RV price tag. You know, not only are you getting the RV at a used tag, but you're getting a ton of stuff with it. If you never, like I said, if you didn't have an RV, or if you're swapping out from the old bunkhouse to a family camper, this is a deal. Thing is, there's more accessories in this rear compartment as well, but as we get there, I want to point out the magnet holdbacks for the baggage doors and the sealed hinges on the baggage doors, helping keep the weather out of those. Now, if I get down here, you can see an enclosed underbelly, but the problem is that's all you see. What you don't see is that it is also forced air heated and has a radiant barrier under there to help give you some good extended season capability. So remember I was talking about how there's storage behind the fireplace, directly across from that sweet cinema seating. This is what we're looking at over here. There's a big old 50 amp surge guard. There's, you know, freshwater hoses, all kinds of random odds and ends in here. Holy cow, guys. Like I said, there's a lot of extra, like, bonus accessory money included with this camper. As we back up a little bit further, note the windows. They're all UV tinted. They all slide open for maximum airflow. It's backup camera ready. Given all the other add-ons I've seen on the RV, I'm almost surprised that you don't see a full backup camera on it. But, you know, I guess 9 out of 10 ain't bad. Meatloaf had that song that 2 out of 3 ain't bad. How about 9 out of 10, right? Docking station down here, that's for our cable and, you know, freshwater connections. Kind of keeps it all in there, away from little kids' hands. Spare tires, never seen the light of day. Down here on this side of the bumper area, there's a gas grill quick connect. Now, what's cool is you also have this full camp kitchen over here with a real sink and real drain to a holding tank. That is nice. It's not just like the dog dish that you know, flap onto the ground. There's outside TV hookups over there, and you see that they put the biggest power awning on this thing they could. It's easy tilt, LED lighting, has speakers built into the awning arms to keep the volume pointed down at you, instead of blowing away the neighbors. I love this big campsite window over here too. Keeps an eye on your sight, instead of always looking at the neighbors. Here's a better look at those stable steps we were mentioning just a few minutes ago. And you see, the spare tires, looking fine. Let me get you up closer. Actually, the spare tires, the only thing on them is they've got a little bit of cobwebbing going on because the RV just wasn't in use. You can, you know, I don't see the nubs on the tires, but I feel like it wouldn't have been far-fetched if we had been able to see the nubs on the tires. And then the EqualFlex suspension system right here. This is a great RV if you want to leave it at a park, but it is perfectly suited to towing and going, and that will take a lot of the shock and jolt out of your transit experience. I'm telling you folks, anytime I see these PVC-based roof membranes come through the used market, they always look fantastic. Now, you still have things like seals that you need to upkeep and maintain, but the membrane on this does not actually require any sort of upkeep to maintain its original factory warranty, which I think really is very telling of the PVC membrane. Not to mention they're basically whiter, so they reflect more UV and keep the RV cooler, and they, you know, absorb less heat effectively. All the seals look good. You can see my footprints up here. Whenever we get an RV in down here, whether it's Haylett RV or over here at Advantage One RV Brokers, before we put this footage together, before we put it out for sale, we still go through and do a full surface inspection to make sure all the seals and everything are looking good, especially on the roof. And it's amazing how many times that I don't feel that's done in the RV industry. You know, people, if they can't see it, they don't think about it, they don't know to ask the question perhaps, but we go out of our way to make sure that you see it and that you do know. And if you appreciate that, make sure you subscribe and follow along to our videos here at Haylett RV. And short of that, remember, we only do everything, whether it's hitching, pieces, parts, trades, finance, RV delivery, and everything in between. We do it all, so take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.